Classic City Bee Company, we're always striving to learn more about bees and how we can more effectively help them stay healthy and produce the best raw honey they can. One of the ways we do this is by seeking out beekeepers wherever they may be. So whenever we find ourselves on vacation, we always track down a local beekeeper to glean some knowledge we wouldn't otherwise have access to. Where other families collect magnets or shot glasses, our family collects beekeeping experiences. We've had the opportunity to visit apiaries in Paris, the Dominican Republic, and Edisto Island, to name a few places. So when we booked a trip to Mexico a couple months back, we started doing some research and discovered something unique about the bees in that part of the world. Join us as we visit the stingless bees of Tulum. Just a short drive south of Carmen del Playa, where we were staying, Tulum offers 1,000 reasons to visit. Between ancient ruins, beautiful cenotes, and incredible food, there's more than enough to keep you busy. But we were looking to visit something a little off the beaten path, the Mayan stingless bee. This rare type of bee, called the Apis melipona, claims the distinction of being the only honey-producing bee native to North America. It may surprise some to learn that the honeybees which we know and love are not native to our continent, but are in fact transplants from Europe. Before European settlers brought their bees to the New World, the Yucatan Peninsula, and specifically the stingless bees that call it home, were the only sources of honey in North America. For thousands of years, this type of bee was raised by the Mayan people who cared for the hives. The honey they harvested was used for cooking as well as in the creation of balche, a traditional alcoholic beverage similar to mead. The honey made by these unique bees was also used in religious ceremonies by the Mayans, with the bees acting as a symbol for Ammuz and Kab, the bee god. This deity, depicted upside down, is a common figure in the nearby Tulum ruins, where what is speculated to be his temple, the temple of the descending god, overlooks the sea. With so much history behind them, I knew I had to see these bees for myself. So I reached out to Stefan, the president of the Fundación Melipona Maya, and we were invited to visit him at the hotel he owns in town, the Hotel Don Diego de la Selva. The Don Diego de la Selva is the perfect place for a tourist like me. Peaceful, relaxing, and with the added benefit of an active bee yard just a short walk from the pool. Stefan showed us through his jungle apiary, where the small hives are stacked on shelves. These bees are smaller and more docile than the bees I'm used to working with, and like their name suggests, are stingless. This makes them easier to work with, however it makes it more difficult for them to defend their hives from robbing insects. To address this, the entrance to the hives are restricted to one tiny hole, where a single bee stands guard, watching over the jungle to ensure that nothing enters the hive which isn't supposed to. I am amazed at the similarities between these bees and the ones back home, but I'm also drawn to their stark differences, including the hive structure and honey storing process of the worker bees. Unlike their European cousins, which obsess over neat rows and exact measurements, these Central American ladies are much more laid back and expand their structure in a way that resembles a beautiful and confusing abstract art installation. I consider the benefits of working without a hot, sweaty bee suit and wonder why this type of beekeeping hasn't made its way to the States. Then, Stefan explains how they harvest honey, using a syringe to extract small amounts from individual cells instead of spitting out large quantities like I'm used to. This, combined with the fact that one hive of melipona bees produces less than 2 pounds of honey a year, compared to about 60 pounds or more coming from our hives back home, convinced me that this is probably not going to spread far, but there is still value to this ancient practice. As we work our way through the hives, Stefan explains that the outlook of the melipona bee is uncertain. The number of active beekeepers in the area has declined rapidly over the decades, with many turning towards the more economical but potentially troublesome Africanized bee. To combat this, Stefan's foundation is actively working to recruit younger beekeepers to take up the traditional practices. Through their education initiatives and conservation efforts, Stefan reports that the number of active beekeepers in the Yucatan caring for these special bees is starting to increase. Our hope is that it will continue to do so. Eventually, we're forced to venture back out into the modern world. We've got ruins and beaches to visit, but seeing these bees up close and learning more about them has certainly been the highlight of our trip. Before we leave, we have to buy a jar of melipona honey to take home with us, which we plan on taste testing alongside our Classic City Bee Company honey. If you ever find yourself in this part of Mexico and have an interest in bees, we recommend that you make your way to Tulum and take some time to find a local beekeeper to visit these unique and beautiful Mayan bees. You won't regret it.